the sun was going down. Yeah, and it was late in the evening. Yeah, the sun was going down. Yeah, my baby, man, she ain't doing nothing but run around. I ain't got nobody to care for me, no one to cook my regular meal. Ain't got no one to care for me, no one to cook my regular meal. Yeah, that's why I've been wondering, everybody ought to know how I feel. Can't ever feel bad. I don't care when you go, don't care how long you stay. Oh, I don't care when you go, I don't care how long you stay. Yeah, you know them good old country blues, they'll bring a woman back home someday. Come on home. So that was my version of Late in the Evening by Lightnin Hopkins. One of his early recordings where he used an electric guitar with plenty of distortion. I tapped out the whole song, and information for the tablature and the song, the original version, etc. is in the video description below. I'm in standard tuning but tuned down a half step. So I have a D sharp, G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, C, not C, A sharp, sorry, and D sharp. So let's start with the introduction. Well, yeah, the tablature I didn't use traditional bar indications. I just transcribed it in full, but phrase by phrase. And I also wrote the lyrics under the tab, so you know exactly where to sing. Alright, here's the introduction. And you notice, of course, I'm unplugged. That makes things a bit clearer, maybe. So I'm starting on the end beat, and that's a mistake in the tab. It says full beat, but it's just a half beat. Well, a quarter beat, sorry. So I'm started on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Hammer on the open 4th string, 1st and 2nd fret, and an open E string. Followed by a double bass and mute it. I play it open and then I mute it, the typical country blues bass. then a triplet, sliding on the third string to the fourth fret, and forming the partial E7 chord, third fret, fourth fret. Open, second fret, third string, hammer on, fourth, and then you form your E chords, and second fret of the fourth string. And that's Lightnin, typical B7 run, you could say, but he remains in the E chords. Alright, and then we have the first verse. Yeah, you know it's late in the evening. That's the first phrase, so it's one beat. One more time with vocals. Yeah, you know it's late in the evening. And if you bend enough, you're going to hit that second string, and it might sound a little bit, and you heard that in the electric recording. You get a little extra sound there, which especially in the last beat there, it's apparent. So that was the first phrase. Man, you know the sun was going down. So man, you know the sun was going down. And then again, in this song, Lightnin uses this riff the whole song. After every sentence he uses this one. He was probably in a lazy mood and didn't have much inspiration to put some variation in his riffs, in his fills. So you could do that too, but I used a couple others as well, which are not in the original version, but they are typical Lightnin Hopkins. So the fill, which is measure 4, I gave the phrases numbers. And I'm convinced that, and on the recordings you also see that he uses his stamp much more than we expect. So I try to do that also. And if you use your thumb, you're going to be more in rhythm than with the index finger. Of course, you can do all kinds of variation. But if you use only the fingers, you will hear that it's less forceful. And then in the measure 5, or phrase 5, we have starting with the E7. Yeah, you know, sorry. I'm going to start with the 4 again. Yeah, you know, it's late in the evening. Very cool A7 riff. So we're starting with one more time with vocals. Yeah, you know it's late in the evening. You know the sun was going down. We've seen that before, so measure 6 and 7. One more time with vocals. Yeah, you know know the sound. And in the second beat you can use the double bass or not, that's your choice of course. Know the sound was going down. Sorry. Yeah, you know my baby. Man, she ain't doing nothing but run around. So measure 8, that's the last phrase of the verse. So, start again with the last couple beats of measure 7 to get into it. And in the original recording he didn't do that. I like to do that, it helps the vocals. And he did it in other songs, it's one of his trademark riffs. So, yeah, you know my baby. Man, she ain't doing nothing but run around. So that's it for the first verse, and of course there was a B7 there. I noticed I didn't use chord symbols in the tab, it's just 3 chords, E, A and B7. Those are the only chords you have to worry about. So, we're going to the next page, page 2, for the next verse, the second verse. I ain't got nobody to care for me. So, without vocals. One more time. I ain't got nobody to care for me. No one to cook my regular meal. Ain't. So measure 11. Well, phrase 11. That's how I wrote it in the tab, but you can, I think I use a variation for that fill. So, da da da, 1 2 1, slide. Another triplet, but and then hammer, the second fret, third fret, hammer on, pull off, second fret, the E and the bass. No one to cook my regular meal. Ain't got no one to care for me. So in measure 12, ain't got no one to care for me. And I'll let that ring into the next beats. Of course, this is A7. No one to cook my regular meal. One more time, starting with the E7 from the previous measure, number 11. Ain't got no one to care for me. No one to cook my regular meal. Another variation of his typical riff. And sometimes you see those fills without any bass, and sometimes with bass, and you can choose there if you want to do that or not. It works both ways. Sorry. Yeah, that's why I've been wondering. So that's the B7 phrase, measure 14. Sorry, one more time. Again, that move to the A7. Yeah, that's why I've been wondering. Everybody ought to know how I feel. Can't ever feel bad. So at the end of the measure 14, we have 15. Again, that move into the last phrase. Everybody ought to know how I feel. Nice on the beat. And then we have the trademark riff. And on those last three beats, I start singing on that note. Can't help but feel bad. And then we have the solo. In the recording, this is pretty much the solo what he plays, except measure 21 and till the third verse. That's something I put together. He often stops after a couple bars and doesn't go to the B7 in his solo, or B7 riff, and I added that. So, and well, to make it simple, to keep it simple, I didn't use any bass there accompaniments, just the single string runs or the double stops. So, can't help but feel bad. So we're sliding to the 12th fret, second string, and the 10th fret on the first string, triplet. And I think in the performance I did, for that last beat of measure 17, I formed a partial A7, so I also fretted the second fret of the second string. But you don't have to. So measure 18. Hammer-ons. 10, 12, 10, 8, a little bend, not much. And then bend up the 10th fret, second string. And then measure 19. And that's a bit tricky maybe. It's not a triplet. It goes faster and it's tricky to stay in, well, on the beat there. So measure 19. Da 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 da, and then that's the rest of the solo, measure 21, and I understand that that's a bit fast maybe for you. Well, if it is, you can simplify it. And you can play whatever. You can slow it down. Like that, for example, or so you can work with what's in the tab, but adapt it, well, the rhythm, to your own taste. And you see I'm all using temps here. And I use a double bass there in the performance. Don't know why, just to stay in the rhythm. Sometimes I do that without knowing it. So, measure 23, we're going to the A7 then. Da 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 da. Alright, let's play the whole solo. I try to play it slow. And of course in measure 23 you can also slow it down. You can add a couple beats, that doesn't matter. If you play alone you can get away with it. Notice the muting, very important. With the fleshy part of your right hand. Alright, then we arrive at the third verse. I don't care when you go, don't care how long you stay. Alright, it's simple. I don't care when you go, don't care how long you stay. Alright, cool riff there, measure 27. And of course you can play hard enough so that the open second string also rings. And then hammer on in one beat. E7. Oh, I don't care how long you go. No, I don't care when you go. Oh, I don't care when you go. Same riff as in the first verse. Don't care how long you stay. That's pretty much a riff we've seen before in measure 30. Yeah, you know them good old kind treatment. They'll bring one back home someday. Alright, a slight variation in the B7 there. Yeah, you know them good kind treatment. And here I'm not going to do A7 with the E string on the 3rd fret, but like that. Down with the thumb and open 3rd and 4th string and then the A chords. So one more time, measure 31. Yeah, you know them good kind treatment. They'll bring you on back home one day. And then we have the cracking end solo, where he really goes to town. And it's a solo he did in other songs as well. So here's the solo. Alright. Open, open, and then And you have to play this with a temp, and a temp pick helps in this case. He's bending so much that he's 2 notes away. But you could of course do like that, but it misses something. First of all, the upwards bend, and of course that bend and pull off, and 3rd string 9th fret. Okay, one more time. Come on home. And here the difficult part is of course those, to get that really in the beat, and especially because sometimes with Lightnin, if you tap the beat when he does his solos, you will see that he loses the beat sometimes. And it's not a bad thing, we're not machines, but because during a solo he might go slower or faster, and then he resumes the beat impeccably always when he starts to sing again. And that's why you don't notice it. All right, come on home. Watch it, these are not triplets. That's a triplet. And then 3 times. And the last time is a slow slide down. Slide down with the temp, I mean right hand temp, index, and then temp, bend the 3rd fret, 3rd string, and then also one of his trademarks to go into a B7 chord. And playing it with a temp makes, well, a difference, I think. Bend that 3rd fret, 2nd string. Up slide to the 12th fret. You can do that with a temp also. Classic turnaround. And then open. Open 2nd string. Hammer on. So that's it for late last night. Do listen to the original, and I think Lightnin's early recordings are a bit neglected. What he recorded between roughly 1946 and 52, all those recordings were pretty much solo, just him and his guitar. Later on, to let's say modernize his sound, he added bass and drums, starting from 52 to 55, and then it was all over. And I think that period is the most interesting. And just on the side, when he was rediscovered by Mac McCormick and Samuel Charters in '59, he was down and out, well, down and out. He still had a Cadillac, but his guitar was in pawn. And Charters and McCormick gave him money and went to the pawn shop. And he went for his electric guitar, and Charters and McCormick said, no, 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 you're going to play acoustic, because we want to present you to the folk market, which was booming then. Joan Baez and all the others, Bob Dylan-esque things. And that's why he started playing acoustic. And when he noticed that his performances for white audiences catched on, or caught on, then well, he remained playing acoustic. Even John Lee Hooker played acoustic in that time, in the early 60s. Later on they did their own thing, and Lightnin also, later on in his career, he switched to electric again. Alright, have fun with this.